Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. How is everyone? Game week 1 has it hasn't really ended. I mean, there's still Tottenham versus Leicester to go. But yeah, pretty much lots of things that we've already learned. So welcome to the Game Week 2 reaction stream, or I guess the Game Week 1 reaction stream. A lot of things have happened in the past few games, so hopefully in this stream we're able to get through everything. And yeah, the Man City versus Chelsea match has just ended. I've just come from watching that match, and by the way, I've just found out as well that bonus points wise, let me just double check this, but that Kovacic goal, before the Kovacic goal, it was, so it's currently Haaland, Vardiol and Akanji, but what I'm getting on another source is Kovacic 3 points, Haaland 2 points and Ederson 1 point. So we'll see what happens to the bonus points system. Yeah, so Kovacic is, so basically Vardiol has been kicked out of bonus points because of that Kovacic goal. So really unlucky for the Vardiol owners. But yeah, lots of things. I mean, to be honest, as a Chelsea fan, I do think like that result was, I guess, kind of expected, but I didn't think that we wouldn't score. I did think we had a chance to I did think we would have a chance to put a few past, not a few, but at least one past City. I was predicting kind of like a 3-1 situation, but yeah, I mean 2-0. We were not playing super well. There were spells of times when we could have hurt them. But I mean, I felt like the result was fair overall. So how did you guys do? How was everyone? Let's say hi to some of you guys in the chat. VJ, always here. Thank you for coming. Get all your questions in the chat. I mean, I guess not a lot of questions right now. I guess more about discussing the things that we've learned. I mean, Barco being benched, Quanza being taken off. Quanza taken off at halftime due to tactical reasons. Both of them no longer options now, obviously. So question is, do you transfer them out? So yeah, City Edits has just asked, do you transfer them out? I guess it really depends, right? You could wait one more game week. I would guess that if you have these kind of players like Barco, for example, I don't think you need to use Barco. I don't think you have to start him this week, because I would think you had rotations planned already. So Barco maybe not so. For Quanza, I think maybe some of you guys with Quanza had intentions to start him next week against let me just check, Brentford, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Brentford in game week 2. So if you need to start Quanza this coming week, I think you need to transfer him out. But I would think that because Quanza's minutes was also not 100% guaranteed, you had some kind of contingencies in place. For example, Robinson on the bench. Then I think you can just start Robinson, see what happens with Quanza. I don't think you need to sell immediately. Kath Dan is in the chat. Nice to see you. Ken, Mr. Bird, Sean. 1:30 a.m. in Singapore. Yes, it is 1:30 a.m. But usually at the start of the season, I like to do a stream to react to game week 1 usually. So hopefully this one is useful, because there's usually a lot of talking points for game week 1 games. Hello from Malaysia, nice to see you. Edison got a save in the last 30 seconds, giving him a save and a bonus point. Yeah, I mean, Enzo took that shot, right? Yeah, so he's in. Haaland is to 31. So Haaland gets 2 bonus points. Kovacic gets all 3, and Ederson gets 1 save point and 1 bonus point. You're right. Yep, you're right. So massive that save. Kicked Vardiol out of the bonus points as well. So as of now, I'm currently sitting at 2.4 million. we'll see how it goes. But honestly, at this point in time, I don't think rank makes that much of a difference. We are currently, this is more like a game week rank. Like game week rank 2.4 million, I think it's not too bad. We usually try to aim for at least, any rank that's in the top 1 million in any given game week, that is honestly good enough. So for this week, 2.4 million, not looking too much at rank right now. But if you guys want to check out your own ranks, let me put a link in the chat. So basically, if you guys want to check your own live rank, you can head over to Fantasy Football Hub. You guys can check out your current rank, but honestly, I don't think it makes too much of a difference right now. What to do with get Barco or Quanza out? Yeah, so I've answered that one already. What to do with Nkunku? Nkunku, for me, I don't intend to sell yet. I mean, it could be a situation where they're trying to ease him back with minutes. So I don't see it as a case where we need to sell Nkunku immediately. I think it's a case where we just wait and see with Nkunku. No need to rush. I mean, there's lots of things still to be learned, so no need to rush. One game week has passed. You see, when Haaland hadn't played yet, a lot of people were worried, especially those who went with Haaland only drafts. Like they were worried that maybe Salah scored that many points and they should have gone for Salah in the end. But we knew that Salah was going to do well. Like we knew he was going to do well in game week 1. He always starts the season well. So honestly, I don't view his points as that much of a surprise. It's more now looking to game week 2 and how are those non-Haaland owners, especially those on Salah only drafts, how are they going to cover that captaincy? That is probably the biggest factor right now. So yeah, lots of points that can be made up for Haaland only drafts. So not to worry. Like for myself as well, I'm just taking it chill. The points will come. What to do with Nkunku? Yeah. So, I mean, to be honest, Pedro Neto looked pretty lively when he came on. I don't think it'll be a case where Nkunku immediately loses his spot. I mean, if we see in the next few games, then maybe there's things that need to be done with Nkunku. But for now, still a lot of information to be learned. We still don't, know for sure because Neto has pretty much just come in. So that's pretty much his first few minutes with Chelsea. So how he gels, that's also another thing that we need to take note of. GV says, felt there was too much hurry in Chelsea and that causes poor finishing. I mean, to be honest, none of our attackers, aside from Cole Palmer, like none of our attackers ever looked as if they were super clinical. Like even Nicholas Jackson, he did put the ball in the net from, I think it was a Cole Palmer shot. But yeah, not ideal. I mean, I honestly think in the transfer market, Chelsea needed to get a striker. Like I feel like we don't have a solid striker still. Hi GT, nice to see you. 43 points with Porro and Solanke still to play. Had Quanza starting, but I got cover for him next week, so don't need to sell. Is my score bad? Like honestly, at this point in time, alright, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll for the scores. How many points are you on? How many points are you on? Let's say less than 30. I don't think many would be in there. 30 to about 40 to 50. Less than 35. 35 to 45. Alright, drop your scores in the chat. Drop your scores in the chat. Drop your scores as votes as well. Let's see how many points you guys are on. I am currently on 57 points. If I add Haaland, I'll be on 59 points. Haaland has 2 bonus points, so I'll be on 59 points. Yeah, many of us in the 50 to 70 bracket. I think that's fine. Like one game week has passed. It's alright to even honestly, if I score about 60, I have Poro left to play. If I score about 65 points this week, I would be happy. Like anywhere between 65 to about 70 points. I said this a couple of times as well. Like anywhere between 60. Wow, that's. Apologies if you can hear that. I'm quite close to the roads, so a bike just sped by. But yeah, anything between 65 to 70 every game week is good enough. It's good enough. We're good to go. Savinho and Doku dribble nicely, get into the box, but don't pass. I think Savinho looked good. I think Savinho looked pretty good. Is Chelsea defenders good to bring in? Okay, I won't lie. I had a look at Malo Gusto. His price is 5 million. I had a look at him. I don't think I bring him in immediately. I want to see a bit more first. But I think potentially, but Reece James would come back soon. I mean, it's subject to what injury updates we get on Reece James. Regarding the bonus points, where you get 3 bonus points if you score a goal that wins the match, do they not add that during the game? Because Haaland didn't lose 3 bonus points after coaches got, or am I missing something? So basically the bonus points only get added, I think, 3 hours after the last game for the day. So bonus points wise, they give you a pre-confirmation, so you can scroll down to the fixtures here, like say for example Chelsea and Man City that just passed. So this gives you an indication. So what happened just now was pretty much Haaland was top, Vardy was second, and I think if I'm not wrong, either Akanji, I think potentially Akanji was third on 1 point, and then because of the Kovacic goal, Kovacic went top, pushing Haaland down, and then Ederson got a save as well. So that put him on 3 saves, and also keeping the clean sheet kind of put him, pushed him up above Gvardiol. So those who own Gvardiol pretty much lost 2 points in the span of, I don't know, one goal and 1 save. So pretty unlucky for Gvardiol owners. But honestly, you're looking for the long run, right? You're looking in the long run if Gvardiol is a good option, and I think he's a really, really good option that I don't have. I don't have the money for him. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find that as well. Mbeumo instead of Eze, deadline decision. Well, if you went for Mbeumo, he did well this week. How many points are you on? I am on 57 points. Is there a case for triple captain Haaland this week if one has him? I would tend to still use it in double game week, but there is a good case for it. I know a couple of, depends on your own play style, but I know there are people who like to captain single game week fixtures that are plump for elite players. Like say for example Salah, Haaland, you want to captain them in a single game week. I've seen it work out before. Like many times it's just pretty much taking a gamble. Nkunku to Mbeumo, no-brainer move. Well, I mean, Mbeumo's fixtures are not ideal. So, I mean, it's Liverpool, then it's Southampton at home, that's okay. Spurs away, City away, those are not great fixtures. In fact, I think I would be waiting. I won't be buying him yet. I don't think it's a super obvious move. Like, I wouldn't be buying Mbeumo. Interested in what you think about Jota's minutes over the next few game weeks. Yeah, that's a good one. I think given that he scored against Ipswich, like if he didn't score, I would be quite worried. But given he scored against Ipswich, I think his minutes look quite good. And also the fact that Darwin didn't even come on, like Gakpo came on for Jota, and that was like I think at the 80-ish minutes. So Jota's minutes, I feel, going forward look pretty good. There's obviously a chance that if Liverpool, are winning 2-0, 3-0, that Jota gets taken off earlier. But if that's the case, I would assume that, or I would kind of back that Jota already got a couple of goals or a couple of assists. So he looked really sharp, by the way. Like he could have gotten one more goal. There was a headed chance that he missed right before he scored the goal. So I think it's looking good for Jota. In fact, like if I didn't have Jota this week and I was looking for a midfielder and I could afford, I would seriously consider Jota. 7.5 million. Liverpool looked pretty good in the second half as well. Like first half they were poor, but second half they kind of turned it around. Got 95 points. That's insane. Is Salah and Isak to Smith Rowe and Haaland worth the hit? Salah and Isak to Smith Rowe and Haaland. Taking a -4 to get Haaland in. So I don't think it is. If you kept Salah, you probably captain Salah, right? So it's kind of kept thinking about it like that way. It's captain Salah plus Isak versus captain Haaland plus Smith Rowe, and minus 4 points. I don't think it's super clear cut. I think it could be it could be a case where overall it makes not that much of a difference. So it may not be worth the hit. But if you are, say for example, triple captaining Haaland, that's a different scenario. I don't really like the move where you are removing Salah immediately and Isak as well, who also looks sharp. It's just that Newcastle were one man down. So they kind of changed formation and it kind of didn't. I mean, they were with 10 men, so I don't think it's a scenario where I would take a hit. Like I wouldn't do it. Happy now, 70 points, Poro remaining. Pretty good. That is a good score. 67 of you guys have voted. 50 to 70 points. 63% of you guys are on 50 to 70 points. I guess there we have the average then. Next game for Chelsea is against Wolves, and would Neto start is the doubt. I mean, I don't think it's a loan. I think it's a buy, right? So if it's a buy, I think there is a chance. But I still think Nkunku starts. Like I still back Nkunku's minutes. I got Quanza and Barco and Johnson. Need one of them to play. Which to sell? Well, Barco and Johnson, like at 4 million right now, there's really not a lot of options. Like you're looking at the Southampton players, you're looking at the Ipswich kind of players. So I would kind of do Quanza to Robinson. Probably do that. JS says I have Mbeumo. Flying. Absolutely flying. I said my team is bad. I got 78 points and Poro and Solanke to play. Jokes on you. I mean, it's one game week. FPL is not played over one game week. There's still other game weeks to go. 76 with Poro and Solanke to play. Great score. Can you talk a bit about the Quanza situation? I think he needs to be sold. Like if you don't have to sell him this week, for example, you have Robinson on the bench and you can start Robinson instead. Then maybe you can wait one more game week. Like he's not an immediate sell. But if you need to start him, I don't think we can count on it. Like it was a tactical kind of a sub. He was losing too many duels. That's what Arne Slot said. So it's really not convincing. Really not convincing. Thank you, BJ, for the plug. If you guys are watching, please do drop a like. Please do subscribe as well. I got 81 points with Son still left. Is that decent? That is very decent. That is very decent. A lot of Salah owners and captainers are very happy this week. Let's see next week. Exactly. I mean, for those on Salah to Haaland, the rest of the team is bad. I've taken a look at some Salah and Haaland drafts, the scores right now, and it's really not too different because you're right, like they have compromised in other areas, and that's pretty much what we were talking about the whole of preseason, where if you go for Salah and Haaland, you're missing out on other integral players that would also score well. So on the whole, Salah plus Haaland drafts aren't doing too differently from Salah only or Haaland only drafts, and I think over the course of a couple game weeks, give it about 2 to 3 game weeks, I think it could show that, you know, the suboptimal picks from Salah and Haaland drafts, I mean drafts that have gone with Salah and Haaland, it would start to show. I do think so. I'm on 50 points with Solanke and Van de Ven to play still. Solanke is a player that could massively impact this game week. Like he could easily get, 2 goals. Should I get Muniz instead of Wood or Palmer instead of Son? I think if you have Wood, you just keep. But if you're looking for a play, like you're making a forward transfer, for example, I would be tempted with Muniz. I do think like Wood was I guess a little bit fortunate to get his goal. Like there was, I don't know, one shot and one shot from Chris Wood and he scored. So not a lot of XG from Chris Wood, so a slight overperformance there. And I think the fixtures are there for Muniz, so I probably would prefer Muniz, even though it is Wood that just scored. Bailey and Watkins did terrible for me this week. Yeah, I mean Bailey hit the post. So he did look sharp. For Watkins, we always knew that he hadn't had any preseason minutes. So because of that, it's kind of not a surprise that Watkins was taken off like pretty early into the game. I'm no Haaland team and I'll be happy if he scores a hat-trick or less next game week. Fair enough. Bruno is a troll. I scores when I don't have him and he misses like Max. Bruno is a player that has frustrated many people this game week, but I urge those of you with Bruno to hold on to him. He is someone that will deliver. He will just take along in the long run. I don't think it's worth it to sell Bruno just because he didn't do well this week. I just think you need to be patient with him. He will get the goals. It's just that with Xerxes coming in now, which I think he could potentially start the next game. I don't think Bruno Fernandes plays false 9 anymore, so maybe he doesn't get as much clear-cut chances like he did in game week 1. He will be playing slightly behind the striker. So assuming Xerxes plays as a striker, Bruno Fernandes will be playing behind Xerxes. So in that case, kind of different role that he'll be playing. So potentially a different type of output. But he did score. He did get a huge amount of XG. I think if I'm not wrong, 1.1 if I'm not wrong, almost 1.1 XG. So he really should have scored. So really unlucky for Bruno owners. Is Bailey injured? Not that I know of. Liverpool 2, Brentford 1. Is that the prediction? I predict more though. Who do I start? Robinson or Hall in defense this week? Feels like a question for the deadline stream. I'd be tempted to start Hall if I am confident that he starts. Which I think there's a good chance that Hall would continue to start at left back. I mean, that is what a lot of the Newcastle fans are saying, that he should be first choice. Is Gordon still good? For sure. I honestly think Newcastle would have scored so many more goals if they were not brought down to 10 men They would have scored so many more goals. Is Dean Henderson still worth it? For sure. For sure. Only one game week has passed. Like, we have to give them time. We have to give our assets time. Save transfer and start Robinson for Bailey and play 4 defenders. Depends who the 4 are. Who are your other 3 defenders? 82 with Solanke. Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm at 56 points with Solanke to play, hoping Solanke will have a brace at least. Aiming 70x points, Haaland only draft. Isak and Bruno disappointed you. To be fair, I think you hold on to them. Right, these assets will deliver in the long run. Only one game week has passed, man. Best 4.5 million defender, looking at Fofana, Robinson, Rico Lewis. Please discuss. I think Rico Lewis is a bit too risky. Kyle Walker should be back soon. He was on the bench as well, just now. Looking at Fofana, Robinson. Fofana, Chelsea defense, I always don't... Like, I just steer clear. They have so many defenders. I would just steer clear of them. 71 with Solanke and Porro to play. Fantastic. 71 is a really good score with 2 players to go. Anonymous says 82 with no one left. That honestly is fine. It's a good score. Do you think Burn will still get minutes? I think a large consideration is, does Gehi truly come in? Like, if he does, I think it changes things. And also the fact that Fabian Schär now is suspended for 3 games. That's what we're hearing. I think it's even more certain that Hall starts, and it's also even more certain that Dan Burn will start at centre back again. So I do think like he will still get minutes, at least for the time when Fabian Schär is still suspended. Which honestly, I mean the red card, it's a debatable one. I do think like it was slightly harsh. Other 3 are Vardiel, Porro, and Trent. Vardiel, Porro, and Trent, and then you play Robinson and you bench Bailey. That's fair. I think I would do that. It feels like a lot of money on the bench, but I think I would do that. I don't pick Chelsea players. There are 50 players in rotation. Exactly. Chelsea players are just a danger. Would you triple captain Haaland this week, or would you save for later? I would save for later. So, by the way, I just checked my live rank. I'm on 2.3 million. 2.3. So for those of you who have been asking in the chat, 2.3. I'm on 59 total points as well. Haaland getting 7 points because 5 and then plus 2 bonus. He got a yellow card as well. I mean, not super consequential, but in fact, I think it was a bit soft, that one. Like, Caldwell kind of played on it too much. Unlucky Bailey hit the post. Yeah, exactly. Bailey looked lively. Like, if there's a player that I think Arsenal should be wary about next week, it's Bailey. Should I start Quanza or just transfer him to Robinson? I would transfer him to Robinson. Right, if you're considering starting Quanza, I wouldn't do that. I'd transfer to Robinson. Should I bench Quanza and play Robinson next game week? That is what I would do. Like, in that situation, you don't have to hurry to sell Quanza. I don't think it's a rush. You can wait and see. Maybe he starts the next game. You never know. But if you have a ready-made replacement, Robinson can just start for you. Like, there's no issues there. Alright, so I'll move on to my team for next week. By the way, we're not going to go on for too long. Right, we'll just go on for maybe another 15 to 20 minutes. But going into next week, I am likely to have Henderson in goal. Back 3, I've brought Robinson in. Robinson comes in for Lewis Dunk, and this rotation was already planned from game week 1. So I started the season knowing that I want Robinson to come in for Lewis Dunk already. So he comes in, his Leicester at home. Trent and Porro, also pretty good fixtures there. In midfield is Nkunku. I probably will still start him. I don't think it's a situation where I need to react quickly to it. We can wait to see if Enzo Maresca is questioned about Nkunku's minutes. So Jota there, definitely, I think I'm expecting big things from Jota. I actually think he's a buy as well. Like his minutes feel more and more secure now, at least for the next few. Right, then there's Gordon, definitely gonna start him. Smith Rowe comes in, Leicester at home. I prefer him to João Pedro, even though he got taken off at about 60-ish minutes. But if I could rework my team for game week 1, I potentially would have gone with Andreas Pereira. Like there's just a I guess something that I'm considering right now is that if I could do something differently, maybe Andreas Pereira on set pieces, all corners, all free kicks, and on penalties as well, maybe slightly better than Smith Rowe. But when Smith Rowe is on the pitch, he is the more advanced of the two. So, it is tough to call between the two of them. In fact, it's only one game. But I do think we will continue to see that Andreas Pereira would drop back when Smith Rowe is the one on the pitch. So, I mean, for now, I have Smith Rowe. I don't think it would be a case where I switch. I do the sideways move of Smith Rowe to Andreas. So I just have to hope that Smith Rowe continues to take along. Saka, did brilliant in game week 1. Should have captained him over Isak as well. But, you can never call the Southampton and Newcastle red card. Then up front, it's Haaland captain and Isak against Bournemouth. I have to say Haaland captain on Ipswich feels good. It definitely feels good. On the bench, it's Valdemarsson, João Pedro, Dunk, both playing Manchester United at home. Do I think that Brighton can score against Manchester United? For sure. Brighton looks so good. They could have had more goals as well. Right, so for sure, I think they could score. João Pedro was unlucky as well. Like he could have gotten more returns. So it is a bit of a risk benching João Pedro for Smith Rowe. But I think I'm likely still to do that. Right, so Smith Rowe coming in and João Pedro on the bench. So I already planned the rotation for the 2 Brighton players and the 2 Fulham players. So going into game week 2, hopefully the rotation pays off because it's Leicester at home. I am hoping that this home fixture, because Fulham are very good at home, like at Craven Cottage. So I do think that we could see quite a couple of goals. And hopefully Robinson to Smith Rowe is what happens. Should I bench Quanza and play Robinson next week? Yes. Had Mbeumo, thoughts on selling him after game week 3? I don't think you need to rush to sell Mbeumo. Like I think he's a perfectly fine option. He's likely on penalties as well because Ivan Toney is not even in the squad. I think there are very, very strong rumours. Come game week 3, come the transfer deadline, the transfer window deadline, I don't think Ivan Toney will still be a Brentford player. In which case, everyone will be moving for Mbeumo. So it could be a wise decision to just keep him. Ref admitted to Eze it was a mistake to rule out his goal. Prevented the 100 points from me. Can't complain. No, knowing FPL, next week will punish me. 100 points is an insane score this week. Were you in bench boost or something? 100 points. Yeah, Eze was unlucky. Like for those of you who had Eze, that should have been a goal. Like in no way should it have been disallowed. But it's just the ruling, right? That if the referee blows the whistle before the ball goes into the net, then VAR can't intervene. Do you worry about Watkins' minutes long term? No, I don't really. I don't really worry about Watkins' minutes. It was just a case of him um, coming back late from the Euros. He didn't have any preseason minutes at all. I scored 101 without Haaland. Should I bring him with me a -4? I'm 233 overall. 101 is insane. Should you bring him in? I'm assuming that you're asking. For a -4. Is Haaland worth a -4? I think is going to be the biggest question that those who have Salah only are going to ask. I can see why you guys would be tempted. Like you just take the points this week and then just take a -4 and then go for Haaland again. Like that's a perfectly sound strategy. It's just I don't know, it feels to me like a case where if I was on a Salah only draft, I would just stick with it. Like if you sell Salah and you upgrade one of your forwards to Haaland for a -4, I mean I guess it could work out. But it just feels like it just does not feel like a good use of the transfers or a good use of a hit. Because Salah has a perfectly good fixture as well. Am I being scammed? I'm in a mini league of 10 players and 9 of them are in the top 100k with no chips used and all have different players. It's game week 1. It's game week 1. 3 best 4.5 defenders. Robinson is great. 4.5. I think Quanza, but Quanza has Arsenal this week, so I don't think you buy him this week. But I think long term Quanza looks pretty good. Other 4.5s. If you could stretch to 5, by the way, like I think Munoz is a good one. Other 4.5s, not a lot stand out, if I'm honest. Quanza to Mazraoui knee jerk. I quite like Mazraoui's minutes, to be honest. Like, we don't really know what will happen when Luke Shaw comes back, whether Luke Shaw takes left back and Dalot moves to right back. Like, that could definitely happen. Could see a case where Mazraoui misses out entirely. But we don't really know. I think there is a bit of... We need to see a bit more before we act on it. So Quanza to Mazraoui feels a bit of a knee-jerk to me. Start Pedro over Nkunku this week? I wouldn't. I would start Nkunku against Wolves because Pedro has Manchester United at home. Please name one best 4 million defender currently and one best 4.5. 4 million. Not a lot of... I do think like Johnson would start to see more minutes though. And he did come on for a winger over the weekend. So he could be quite a hidden gem. It's just that, you can't really be sure about his minutes because he didn't start in game week 1. But I think over time, if he does start in that position, really, really good. Best 4.5 will be Robinson. If I was bringing in one this week, it'd be Robinson. My Chris Wood outscored Haaland dream start. Should I keep Murphy? So Murphy is another player that was really unlucky. Murphy is another one that was really unlucky. Would you keep him though? I think I would. Against Bournemouth, I still think he starts ahead of Harvey Barnes. He was very, very unlucky to have to be sacrificed because of the Shah red card. Does Hall keep his place with Fabian Shah red card? I do think so. I think his minutes are slightly more secure with the Fabian Shah red card. Yeah, Greaves is an option as well. Harwood Bellis also an option at 4 million. It's just, I mean, I wouldn't make a 4 million defender change this week. Like, you only have one free transfer. I wouldn't, swap out your 4 million defender. I would prioritize the 4.5 million defender, which you're removing Quanza. So I prioritize that transfer. Can we aim for 100 likes? We are on 31 likes right now. If you guys are there are 163 of you guys. Thank you all for coming down. Didn't expect this turnout today. Bailey's still a good option, yes. Best captain next week except Haaland, it has to be Salah. It has to be Salah after that. He's playing at Anfield, by the way. Eze was an AI pick. To be fair, Eze took so many shots. Eze took so many shots today. He was unlucky as well. Another day, Eze gets 2 goals. Brentford is a great fixture for Salah anyway. Could easily cover Haaland. Exactly. Which is exactly why I don't really like the -4. I have both Salah and Haaland. I think Salah is a better captain for Game Week 2 since he's playing at home. Haaland is also playing at home. And Salah looks sharper. I think Haaland looked pretty alright as well. Like Man City's attack today, it gives me confidence that they could give Ipswich a really, really big scoreline. Thinking of using the free hit to bring in Man City players. I would save the free hit. Like, there's so much value in using the free hit later on. I wouldn't use the free hit now. In fact, this season, I think the free hit chip could be more powerful than the wildcard chip. Like, with us being able to roll up to 5 free transfers, I could see a case where we could have many transfers in our like many transfers banked. Like, it's possible. I don't think we reach 5 transfers every single game week, but with a consistent stream of like maybe having 3 to 4 transfers every other week, like, and then using 1 or 2 as and when you need it, keeping a good number as free transfers, maybe you don't really need the wild card as much until you see massive swings in fixtures for teams. But if not, I think the free hit chip is more worth it, or has more value and more power, I guess, this season. So I wouldn't use the free hit chip this week. Especially just to bring in City players, like I wouldn't. Who was on bonus for today's games? Haaland is on 2. Haaland is on 2. Kovacic is on 3. And Edison is on 1. For Brentford and Crystal Palace, it's Wissa, Mbeumo, and Nathan Collins. That's bonus points this week. Best Quanza alternative, I think it's Robinson. Do you think I should switch Bailey with Bernardo for the Game Week 2 fixture against Ipswich? No, because Bailey after Game Week 2 has great fixtures. Best United defender. I want to go for the centre backs because Delete is now here. Maybe Dalot until Luke Shaw comes back, but he's quite expensive. So maybe Mazraoui, but again, Mazraoui, I'm not so certain of his minutes until Luke Shaw comes back. Can we discuss Pedro from Brighton? Is he a hold or sell? My assumption is that if you had João Pedro, that you had plans to rotate. Like, for my position, I had plans to rotate João Pedro with Smith Rowe. Or for example, if you had Morgan Rogers, you could very well just start João Pedro against Manchester United at home. And then next week, when João Pedro Game Week 3, when João Pedro has Arsenal, you can bench João Pedro and start Morgan Rogers, who has Leicester in Game Week 3. So the rotations for the 5 million Rogers or 5.5 million Smith Rowe / Andreas Pereira works well with João Pedro. So I don't think you need to sell him immediately. In fact, I think he was very unlucky not to get more returns. Haaland triple cap? Probably not. Probably not. Thinking of moving Barco to Robinson with my 0.5 million in the bank. That move looks good. That move looks good. But just make sure that it doesn't, using that money on Robinson doesn't block you from other transfers that maybe you have planned for later weeks. But if not, that's a fine transfer. Any point in selling Barco for Harvard, Bellis or Bednarek? Like there's no real need. Like if you're not gonna play, for example, in my case, I have Johnson on the bench, third on the bench. Like I don't really need to sell him. So I don't think Barco is someone you need to rush to sell. I would assume that you have other players ready to go. Is it smarter to make transfers one by one? Excuse me. Is it smarter to make transfers one by one or wait one more game week to have 2 free transfers? I think this question is quite subjective. Like, it depends what kind of transfers you're making and how it improves your overall squad. It doesn't, to be honest, I think whether it's one by one or 2 in a row, I mean 2 in the same week, I don't think it really makes much of a difference in terms of the point that you're trying to do at the end of the day is optimize the fixtures for all your players. So whether or not you use it one at a time or 2 in a row, as long as you're still optimizing the fixtures, that's fair enough. Like it's warranted to use it. Salah got a lucky goal, by the way. Yeah, that is true. Would you do Saka to KDB or Foden? No, I wouldn't do that. Would you downgrade Gordon to Eze or wait a bit for Gordon? I would wait for Gordon. I think the returns will come. Thoughts on Havertz? I like Havertz. And in fact, I think Havertz playing the centre forward position looks even more certain now. Like he feels to me like still the first choice number 9. Should I play Gibbs White or Bruno Guimaraes? Gibbs White. Do you think Barco will play in Game Week 2? Why is he benched? Honestly, we don't really know why Barco was benched. It could very well be just a tactical kind of a thing. Quanza on the bench for Game Week 2. I wouldn't be confident in starting Quanza. Quanza was dodgy to begin with. His minutes was never 100% secure. Glad I didn't go with Nkunku. Getting hooked before 60 minutes is not a great sign. I think they're easing him in though. Hi Leon, worth doing Saliba to Vardiol for Game Week 2 or roll? Roll. Roll. Because Saliba still has Brighton at home in Game Week 3. Excuse me. Nkunku to Soboslai? Not a fan. Not a fan. Eze to Doku for the Ipswich fixture. Not really keen on that as well. I think the long term is for Eze to stay in Crystal Palace. So him being on penalties, nailed for 90 minutes, I think I would go for I could see a world where Doku is taken off early, like if he doesn't play well. Like even in the first half, like he wasn't playing well against Kukureya and then he went to the other side. Like he switched flanks and then they looked infinitely better. So I could see a world where Doku misses out, for example, when Grealish comes back. I scored 74, no Haaland. Should I sell Bruno Fernandes for Jota? Probably wouldn't do that. I don't like that move. I would hold Bruno Fernandes. I don't think he's a sell. I'm on 63 points with 1 to play. Mavadidi. Leicester City, number 10 on set pieces. Even Pens, only 5.5 midfielder to watch him tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, Mavididi has been attracting a lot of interest recently, or at least closer to the deadline, after news that Vardy and Daka were both still out. Tomorrow not working. I am working tomorrow. So I think we will have to end pretty soon. But if you appreciate the fact that I'm streaming even though I do have work tomorrow, please do drop a like. Please do subscribe as well. We are one subscriber away from 7,700 subscribers. So just one of you guys, there's about, I think, 176 of you guys watching. If there's one of you guys who click the subscribe button, we will get to 7.7k. So that'd be quite a milestone. Would you downgrade Gordon to Eze? No, I wouldn't. Who is the best Game Week 2 captain? Not even sure this is a debate. Like Haaland against Ipswich, honestly. Doku at 6.5 is real value. It's just the minutes. Like long term, what are his minutes going to look like? Nkunku to Mbeumo, only one option. Do we move for Mbeumo now though? He has Liverpool. Next 2 game weeks he also has tougher fixtures. Man City, Tottenham in the next few. I can see a world where I transfer in Mbeumo for Eze. Not this week for me though. But it could be down the line. It could be down the line for sure. What do you think of Nkunku? I would give him one more week. Can we aim for... Oh, thank you all of you guys. Thank you all of you for helping to plug the channel. Can we aim for 100 likes, like and subscribe? Thank you very much, Lewis and VJ, as always. We hit 7.7 thousand subscribers, so thank you very much, all of you guys. Couldn't have done it without you. 7.7 subscribers. We are trying to aim for, hopefully, we try to hit 10,000 subscribers this season, so we'll see whether we can get there. Content-wise as well, like it'll be the same from Game Week 2 onwards. Like there's going to be wildcard videos for those of you on Game Week 2. There's going to be a transfer plans video. Or maybe this week there wouldn't be a transfer plans because I'm doing this stream. But in general, there will be a transfer plans if I don't stream. There will be team selection, of course. And then there's also players to buy and sell, which is something new that I'm doing this season. And data, so the stats breakdown. So lots of content to look forward to. So if you do want to keep up to date with that one, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. Then you'll be notified. I'm keeping Gordon. Sorry, Patrick. Do you think Murphy's sub was tactical to the red card on Shah? Should I switch him to Smith Rowe or Rogers? I think Murphy is fine to keep. I still think like Murphy is first choice ahead of Harvey Barnes. For the time being, at least. I'm keeping Gordon and Salah if that helps people. I'm not mad with them. I'm holding. Exactly. Like if you went with Salah, it's not as if anything has changed. Like we already knew that Haaland was he could have every potential to score against Chelsea in Game Week 1. Game Week 2, we also already knew that Haaland was going to play Ipswich. He's going to be the best captain. Nothing has changed. So if you did not plan to have Haaland from the start, then I say you stick to the Salah only draft. Like for those of you with the Salah only draft, and you very well captain Salah in Game Week 2 against Brentford. Like there's nothing wrong with that as well. I have Barco, Robinson, Quanza, and Johnson. Oh, and Hall as well. Help me pick 3 for Game Week 2. So Hall definitely, Robinson as well. For Barco, Quanza, and Johnson, I think you probably have to do Quanza out for another 4.5. Question is, or the issue is, you have Robinson and Robinson and Hall, who are already the two better 4.5 millions. Other 4.5 million options that you would consider. Are there any other 4.5s outside of Robinson and Hall that you guys are considering? Like maybe Crystal Palace defenders, like, I don't know, Henderson. But Crystal Palace also don't look that they're flying right now. Like they just lost to Brentford. Brentford never scored at Anfield. Don't move to Mbeumo for that game. I wouldn't move for Mbeumo this week. Like for those of you who are moving to him, just hold out. Just hold out. Wood on Nkunku for game week 2, Chris Wood. What do you think of Foden? He might play in game week 2. I do think so. I think Foden has some minutes this week, and I also think that he will start soon. It's more a question of when he finally gets to full fitness, and then he should be a regular starter. Decided to go for Gordon over Jota in the last minute. Hope Gordon returns next week. I do think he will. Like Newcastle, because they only had 10 men, were very unlucky against Southampton. Like if Fabian Schär kind of kept his discipline, I do think that's a game I see Newcastle scoring more goals against Southampton. We couldn't have called the red card. So if I rolled it back, and decision making wise, like it was an alright decision. It was an alright decision. On another day, Newcastle don't get the red card. Like Fabian Schär doesn't get sent off, and then Fabian Schär doesn't get sent off. They keep playing with 11 players and they run riot against Southampton. After seeing Mateta being subbed off, I'll delay the Solanke to Mateta transfer. Yes, for sure. Like Solanke in game week 2 is perfectly fine as well. He has Everton at home. Rico Lewis, no, I wouldn't go there. Also have Kluivert against, instead of Semenyo. Hold Kluivert, better things to come. Started him for 0 pointer, played 26 minutes when you. Okay, I mean, I think Semenyo is the one that I would have gone for if I was going for a Bournemouth player. But I think still there's time to just wait for a bit. Any players that caught your eye this week? Good question. I'm quite interested in. I mean, we will have to wait a while more. Like there's a lot of things to consider still and information to learn. But as I've said, like Mbeumo, I wouldn't move for him now. But he is someone that, because Ivan Toney was left on the bench, left out of the squad, I think long term we could see Mbeumo being the talisman for Brentford. Not saying I'm gonna bring him in now, but he's someone that caught my eye. I think he could be the bandwagon in a few game weeks time, after the tough fixtures. So Mbeumo is one. Any other players from yesterday's fixtures though? I like the positions that Havertz was taking up against Wolves. We kind of expected that maybe Jesus could come in that position, but because Havertz is continuing to start at centre forward, I do like that. Other things as well is Brighton looking very, very good. Like Mitoma, back to I would say back to his best at the dribbling. Like he looked really, really sharp as well. So Brighton attackers, the only issue with Brighton is that they have a set of two tough fixtures for game week 2 and game week 3, which is Manchester United at home for game week 2, and in game week 3 it's Arsenal. So also most of these players that I'm mentioning now are not players I move for now, but I wait for a little bit, see what happens, and then move for them later on when their fixtures improve. But they are definitely like on my radar for when their fixtures improve. Rico Lewis to Quanza? Definitely not. Definitely not. Newcastle will keep another clean sheet against Bournemouth. Very possible. Thoughts on 6 mil Muniz? Looked bad or good to you? To be fair, they played Manchester United at Old Trafford as well, so that's not an easy game. And I would say Manchester United had large spells of possession, so I don't think we saw a lot of chances for Muniz. So it's quite hard to judge him based on just one game. But in terms of the Fulham attack, like the way that they broke, on counter attacks and their ability to build up play, I do think like at Craven Cottage next week when they're playing against Leicester, I do think that it would be more kind of a flowy attacking football that we see. We've seen them play it last season as well, in which case I think there will be more chances for Muniz. So I think the fixtures are really good for Muniz, especially the next two. So it could be a case where he outscores Chris Wood over the next two. I still think that Chris Wood was slightly fortunate to get his goal because it was that one shot that he took. One shot on target, sorry. Who is the best 6.5 million Man City player in your opinion for Game Week 2? For Man City still, for me it's Haaland and Varial or nothing. Like until we see consistent minutes for even Phil Foden, like until we see consistent minutes for them, say for example Kevin De Bruyne as well, if you guys are interested to go there, but his injury record is not great, especially when there's Champions League, you have to look out for rotation. But for Phil Foden, the moment his minutes start to look good, I think we all need to start thinking about how to get Phil Foden in. But that will likely come after the Arsenal fixture. In Game Week 5, they have Arsenal. So it's Ipswich, West Ham, Brentford. I think the earliest I bring Phil Foden in, potentially against Newcastle or just Fulham, because this run from Game Week 7 all the way to Game Week 11 is just a sea of green fixtures. Like you can't see it in the screen here, but I can see it on my end. It's a sea of green fixtures from 7 to 11, which is why it is so tempting to go for a Game Week 6 wildcard and just switch over, load up on your Man City players, load up on your Arsenal players as well. So it's a really good time. In fact, like for my own team as well, I don't have Varial, I only have Haaland. If come Game Week 5, I still don't have both of them. I still don't have Varial, and Phil Foden's minutes also look good. There's every chance I just wildcard in Game Week 6 to bring all the Man City players in. Should I sell Palmer and get Bruno and Gvardiol for -4? Probably not. Probably not. I think you could wait because Palmer's fixtures only just start to look good now. Wolves away. I don't think there's a rush to move for Bruno and Variol as well. Not sure where it's N for a -4 too. Not sure whether to play João Pedro or Nkunku in Game Week 2. I would still say Nkunku. I think he starts. Alright, we'll take the last question before I call it a day. There's work tomorrow. Saka looking good. Can't fit him into my team. And on Lewis, you loaded your whole team there. Trent, Salah, Haaland, Gabriel, Variol. Yeah, I mean, Saka looks good. But I think if you don't have him now, I don't think you rush to get him because Aston Villa away is not particularly a fixture where I see Arsenal scoring a lot. It could be quite a cagey game. I still see Arsenal winning, but I don't think they score that many goals. Alright, thank you guys for coming down. Appreciate it. 150 of you guys watching. So thank you guys for reacting to Game Week 1 with me. Lots of things that we've learned. So I'll summarize all of it in tomorrow's video. And also lots of content coming this week. Team selection, transfer plans. I don't think I'll do it. I'll do it from Game Week 3 onwards. Players to buy and sell. And the stats breakdown. Like the stats breakdown, I hope will be useful for you guys because that's where I collate all the data from Game Week 1. Players who have outscored their expected goals, players who have underperformed, and then we'll kind of draw some analysis from there. I quite like that we'll be doing that this season so that we can predict the next maybe a couple of returns that are going to come from players. And then there'll be odds as well, clean sheet odds, predicted points, and captaincy as well. There's something interesting in terms of captaincy. I'll leave that for the stats breakdown, so make sure you keep a lookout for that one. But if not, there we go. Thank you guys for coming down again. Do drop a like, do subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will catch you guys very, very soon in tomorrow's video, which will be out tomorrow. Yes. All right. Bye bye.